Welcome back to Hello Strictly Insider series. Week 2 of the BBC competition saw Molly and Carlos topping the leaderboard with their epic quick step, while Ellie and Nikita also wowed viewers with their stunning waltz. Sadly, week 2 means that we had to say goodbye to one couple, and it was Kay and Kai who were voted off by the judges after a very close dance-off. This week we're chatting to former Strictly star Aljaž Škorjanec to get his views on the week 2 dances. Right, well, welcome Aljaž. Thank you so much for joining our Strictly Hello Insider. So let's get straight to it. I guess let's start with the dance-off. What did you make of it, and do you think that the judges made the right decision sending Paul Kay and Kai home?
Well, I have to say that it was very, very emotional watching the first dance-off as a viewer. I have never sort of watched it from home to begin with, but then I think the dance-off, it's always so dramatic when you're in the studio. It's always nerve-wracking. Being in it, it's one of, I remember one of the first times that I was in that dance-off. It was one of the most nervous moments of my whole life. And I know what the professionals, what celebrities are going through in their minds. They're trying, to perfect or polish every single last bit of the steps or the routine or performance value. I think they both were a little bit nervous. Both celebrities in the dance were a little bit nervous, and I think that's why maybe they made little mistakes. And I think it was a very, very tough one to call. I don't know. I think I was divided myself really with who I would have saved. There were two completely different dances, but yeah, you see, I don't know. I'm really, really 50-50 with this first dance-off, but maybe I was aiming more towards saving Kay and Kai, if I'm really, really honest.
And what do you think Matt Goss kind of needs to do to make sure that he doesn't end up kind of in the dance-off again?
Do you know what? I think that all the dances on Strictly are completely different from one another. There is different stories you want to tell. There is different essences of the dances you want to portray. So whatever his dance is next week, he comes across as such a gentleman, as such a showman, as he's really, really sure of what he does, and I'm sure of it that whatever his next dance is, just portray that basic chivalry between in a couple, whoever it may be, and I think he's gonna pull through. Practice, do those steps on Monday and Tuesday, and then try to learn as much of technique as possible, and just be really, really ready to come back fighting after being in a dance-off.
Well, as you said, there were so many amazing, incredible performances, and I know we say it every year, but the standard really is so high this year. Who was the standout star of Saturday night for you?
If I would have want to pick a standout, I think that there was a lot of couples that were on a very, very similar level this Saturday. Week 1, I was really, really surprised by a few celebrities. But now on week 2, we go into this sort of normal Strictly schedule, which means that you don't get 2 weeks for the first dance, and then in reality, you get more like 3.5 days for every routine from now onwards. And I think that this weekend was the more close to sort of what time frame is for the celebrities to learn and then to execute dances on Saturday. I think that my standout was probably this last weekend was Molly and her quick step with Carlos. I think it was amazing with content. I think she was brilliant when it got to her energy. She kept the performance value through the whole routine. The routine was, by the way, beautifully choreographed by Carlos. It's amazing to watch the new pros, him and Vito, and Jovita as well. I think all three of them are doing an incredible job. And yeah.
And let's talk about Fleur. There were some who thought that the kind of judges' comments were quite harsh about her Viennese waltz, particularly on her footwork. Do you think those comments were fair?
I think that with a dance like Viennese waltz, because there is not many steps, you sort of need to learn. It's only your natural turn, your reverse turn, and then a fleckle. Her routine, her and Vito's routine was inspired with a bit of a contemporary and a bit of lyrical dancing, which I really, really enjoyed. But because the actual steps of the Viennese waltz are so simple and so few to learn, I think that this gives judges more chance and more attention on the actual technique, which means closing your feet, your heel leads, driving from your standing leg. So it just makes you a little bit more exposed. And I think this being her first ballroom dance, I think that the judges were paying a little bit more attention on her technique. But all in all, I think she's so talented. I think she has so much to give on the show as well. So I think a few, mishaps when it gets to technique, I'm sure it's not gonna, stop her in her tracks. I think she's gonna be brilliant every single week.
And I feel like, as you touched on earlier, now we're on week 2. The judges are kind of, they're kind of expecting a bit more, aren't they? And I feel like with someone like Fleur, because you can see that she's so naturally talented, it's almost like, okay, well, week 1, everyone's really nice and lovely and everyone thinks everyone's amazing. It's like, okay, week 2, we're going to get down to the nitty gritty. And it's kind of like that, isn't it?
Francesca and Phoebe, it's my favorite week on Strictly Come Dancing. 3rd week is the movie week. It's the whole cast pretty much gets to do the movie week, which is the reason why I love it. You get to portray your famous characters that you like or that you might have been scared of. One of them this weekend, I've heard, is going to be Jurassic Park, which is one of my favorite theme songs. I have been convincing Jeanette to do it with me. Me obviously being a safari ranger, and Jeanette would have been a dinosaur. But she hasn't said yes yet. But I'm interested to see how Hamza and Jovita do it. But I think that they're gonna all love the movie week. It's my favorite week on Strictly, and I can't wait to watch.
I remember the movie week memory that I have of you, Aljaž, is Jungle Book.
Oh.
Is that your favorite one?
I am still sort of traumatized from that one because my ear fell off. And I love that dance. It was a Charleston with Gemma Atkinson. I was Baloo the Bear. She was Bagheera. But that's why, you see, I think that for anyone that sort of loves Strictly, one of my favorite things was, everyone loves Strictly, but one of my favorite things was playing these characters. I was Shrek last year. I've played some characters that I'm never, ever going to forget, but Baloo the Bear was one of the first ones that sort of broke the ice for me. I remember the option was either being Baloo the Bear or to be Mowgli, which was sort of this half-naked man from Slovenia. And I cleverly chose Baloo the Bear.
And kind of thinking back about all these memories, does it ever make you want to return? Are you kind of always watching it and thinking, oh, I wish that could be me, part of me wishes that I was back there?
You see, that's a great question. But even like Lassie, the film, the dog that always comes back, even they, give it a couple of years in between. So, no, I'm just a really, really big fan of the show. I've always been a fan of Strictly Come Dancing. And, 9 years on the show, I feel like I gave every single bit of me, of my, my heart, my choreography, my creativity. And I'm just enjoying now being a #1 fan of it. And it's interesting to watch it from the other side as well, from the audience side, knowing how the whole thing works and how much effort goes into every single finger, every single toe that gets pointed on that show. And I'm really, really excited to watch it this year and then see what happens next year.
And is there one couple in particular that you're rooting for?
One couple that I'm particularly because all of my friends, all of my my Strictly colleagues, my professionals, although there is a lot of new faces, but I still know most of them, and I don't think it would be fair to pick a favorite just yet.
So what's next for you, Aljaž? What are you up to at the moment? Is there anything that you've got on the horizon that we can look forward to? Absolutely.
I'm on a Wednesday and Thursday. I'm going to be watching my Jeanette Manbrara on It Takes Two. So if you want, you can join me for that one. I'm going to be at home on the sofa cheering her on. So that's my next thing in the pipeline would be Wednesday and Thursday, Jeanette It Takes Two, which I'm extremely proud of watching her on that. She's really good, by the way. And apparently, don't tell anybody, but she's now the best dancing TV presenter in the country.
Amazing.
If she ever wants to do Strictly as a celebrity, I would love to come back and dance with her.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's a great idea. Oh, hi. I love it. Amazing idea. Aljaž, would you ever want to do more presenting work? Because we think that you'd be just as great. I mean, the two of you together, imagine that.
I would love to, but At the moment at home, Jeanette doesn't really let me talk much, so I can't practice as much as I wanted. She's really looking at me here with a stern face. But, I would love to one day. But at the moment, I'm just Jeanette's #1 fan.
Oh, I love it. Aljaž, it's been so lovely to talk to you. Thank you so much for taking the time. Thanks so much for watching our Strictly Insider this week. Don't forget to join us next time, where we'll be joined by another famous face to discuss this weekend's movie week. And make sure you like and subscribe and head over to hellomagazine.com for more Strictly content. Bye!